Hi everyone, myself Dr. M. Lakshmi Prasad, working as an associate professor in the Department of Data Science in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. In this video, I'm going to discuss about introduction to vectors, which should be one of the concept of R programming. So, very first thing is that vector is one of the data type in R programming. So, R programming is going to have different types of vectors, and so what should be a vector first of all? So, vector is nothing but a sequence of data elements of the same basic data type. So, normally in many programming languages, like I'm going to take a C programming language, so array is a data type, so which is going to be hold an array of 10 elements means so here I'm going to have data, so this should be array name, and so these are the contents of that array, so which should be of integer data elements only. That should be, so array is nothing but a collection of homogeneous data elements, so that means we are going to collect the same kind of data. So suppose if I'm going to have as character array C of 10, so then I can able to create a character array like ABC. So the data should be homogeneous. That means same kind of data. One is not integer, another is not a floating point, another is called now character. So this kind of not should be an homogeneous data element. So in our programming also, so vector is a sequence of data elements where should be of same data type, and the members in the vector is officially what we called as a components here. Okay, so the elements what is there in that vector should be called as the components here, and otherwise we can able to simply call it as a members also. So vector is a collection of data elements of the same type, and then where it should be the elements what we called as a components, or other name what we called as the members here. So how we're going to create a vector of numeric vector, logical vector, and character vector in our programming, we'll see now. So here I'm creating a numeric vector. So numeric means so it should be in alphabetical numbers like 10, 20, and 30. So this should be a numeric vector, and another vector like 25, 10, 15 like this. So this should be another numerical vector. Similarly, if I want to create an array of character vector, so C of, so I'm going to write it as ABC and XYZ, and I'm going to write EQR. So this should be the character array vector, what we call it as in our programming. And similarly, if I'm going to create a logical vector, like so normally, in many programming languages, the character is going to be denoted in single quotations. So when it should be, the string should be, it should be going to be represented in double quotations. If a single character, if I'm going to mention in double quotation, this should be also automatically, it should be a string, that should not be a character. Okay, so a string is nothing but a group of characters, what we call. And similarly, if I'm going to create a logical vector, so logical vector means how I'm going to create that. So logical, it should be of values only either true or false. So if I'm going to create a vector of three values, suppose true, second value is also true, and next one is false, and another value is also going to be false. Okay, so like this I can able to create a logical vector in non-programming. So like this, I'm going to create a vector so of data elements of the same type only, just know what I said. And the members of this vector, what we going to call it as the components, or I can able to call it as the members. And the vector should be of three types, like numeric vector, logical vector, and then character vector. The length should be that number of elements or members in the vector should be given by the function length. Length of this should be the length of the vector. This is the function I'm going to use to find the length of the vector here. And suppose how can I able to write that syntax, or like Suppose if I want to find the length of the vector of numeric like this one I want to find what should be the length. So how can I able to write? So I can able to make use of this length of function. So within that I'm going to pass this vector. Okay. So like this I can able to find. So then it should be able to return that the length should be 3. Similarly, if I want to find what should be the length of this vector I want to find, so I can make use of this length of function. Within this I'm going to pass this vector. So it should be able to return this length should be 3. So like this I can able to find the length of the vector as well by make use of this length of function. Then how can able to combine the two vectors? So one should be the numeric and there should be the string. So how can able to do that? So how can able to combine that? So in our programming, so for that I'm going to have a function called C, what we call it as a function C here. So the vector can able to combine by make use of this C function here. C, function. So by make use of this function, I can able to combine or I can able to join the two vectors of different types as well. Let us see the example like suppose n is the vector, the numeric vector I assigned, and under s is the another vector of a string I'm going to be assigned. So this is this string vector, and this should be the numeric vector. So these two vectors I'm going to assign these variables and an s. So by make use of this C function, I can able to combine both the vectors n and s. So once this one is combined, so then I can able to get 235 as one vector, which is going to be joined with another string vector that should be like this. So let's take another example like I'm going to take x is equal to C of A, B, B, C, C, D. So this is the one vector I'm going to assign to x value, and another vector I'm going to take y. So y is equal to another vector of 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. So this is the another vector I'm going to be combined with another one. So how can I able to combine these two vectors by making the function what I'm going to have C of x comma y. So once this one is joined, that means by making use of this function, I can able to join this y vector to the vector x. So then automatically the output should be AB and BC, CD is the string vector. So rest of that should be the numeric vector 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then 15. Okay, so like this I can able to combine the two vectors by make use of the CF function. And next one is value coercion. So what should be this value coercion? So in this, what are the numeric values, what is there that is going to be coerced into the character strings. So where the two vectors are going to be combined. So this should be the necessary so as to maintain the same primitive data type in the same vector. So just now I said the vector should be this homogeneous elements 3, 4 and C of x, y, z like this. It should be the homogeneous. So by make use of this value coercion, uh, the numerical values can also be coerced into character strings when we're going to be combined two vectors. Okay, so this kind of thing is also going to be possible in our programming. Then how can able to do this vector arithmetic in our programming, we'll see. So normally many of the people know that so what are the arithmetic operations we are going to have, like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and all. So those kind of operations also I can able to apply in vectors. So normally these vector operations are going to perform by number, so that are what we call as number wise. So let us consider an example like suppose we are going to have two vectors a and b. So in this I'm going to use vector a should be 1 3 5 7 and b should be 1 2 4 8. Okay, so in this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to be multiply some value with the vector. Suppose I want to multiply 5 with this vector. I want to write multiply. So how can I able to do that? So for that, I'm going to use 5 into a. So here, y 5 should be scalar value and a should be the vector name. So by make use of this statement, I can able to multiply the value of 5 with the vector values. That means uh, C is should be 1, 3, 5, 7, right? I'm going to multiply 5, 5 threes, 5 fives, and 5 sevens. So 5, 15, 25, and 35 should be the output. Okay, so the value can able to multiply with the vector also. And another one is addition I want to do. So how can I able to do the addition? Suppose this is the two vectors I'm going to have, right? So 1 3 5 7 and then 1 2 4 8. I want to add these two vectors. So how can I able to write? Simply I can able to write a plus b. So if I'm going to write a plus b, then 1 plus 1, 3 plus 2, 5 plus 4, and 7 plus 8. So what will happen? So I can able to get this vector values. So next one, I want to perform a subtraction. So I want to subtract the b from a. So how can I able to write? So a minus b. So if I'm going to write like this, then I can subtract the values of one vector to the other vector. So 3 minus 2, 5 minus 4, and then 7 minus 8. That should be minus 1. So I can able to multiply the two vectors as well, like a into b. So I can able to get so 1 into 1, and then 3 into 2, 5 into 4, and 7 into 8. So I can able to get this value. Similarly, next one is division operation. So in division operation, so I'm going to write a divided b. So 1 divided by 1, and then 3 divided by 2, and 5 divided by 4, 7 divided by 8. So in order to perform all this, so very one thing we have to be remember that the length of vector should be same. So here the number of elements in the vector is 4, and if I am going to have 5 here, then it is not possible some of the vector operations like a plus b, a minus b, a into b, and a division also. Okay, suppose let us take another example like so x is equal to c of 1 2 3 4 and y is equal to c of 5 6. I'm going to write 4 3 2 1. So these are the two vectors I'm considering. So in this one I want to multiply with 2 into x. So what should be the result here? So for this 2 4 6 8, this should be the output of this one. Okay, and second one, suppose if I want to add something, how can I able to write x plus y? Simply I can able to write. So that means I can able to get the combination of two vectors, addition of these two vectors. So 1 plus 4 5 5 5 and 5. Similarly, if I can able to write x minus y, then I can able to get 1 minus 4 minus 3 minus 1 and then 1 and then 5. So similarly, if I'm going to write into x into y, so x multiplication with y vector, so 1 into 4 and 2 into 3, 3 into 2 and 4 into 1. So like this I can able to be perform some of the arithmetic operations in vectors in our program. Next one, what should be this recycling rule is there. if the two vectors should be of unequal length. So just now I said, so if one vector should be of the same length and another vector of the same length, then only the addition, subtraction and multiplication is possible. So now what I'm going to say that, so according to this recycling rule, so if the two vectors is of the same unequal length, then the shorter one will be recycled in order to match the longer vector. Okay, so according to this recycling rule, if the two vectors is of unequal length, then the shorter one will be the recycle in order to match the longer vector. For example, so the following vectors we are going to have u and v of different lengths. So how the sum is going to be computed by recycling the values of shorter vector. So let's see the example how this one is applicable. So we're going to have one vector, see 10, 20, 30, and another vector 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So these two vectors, so this should be vector length 3 and this should be the vector length 9. So I'm going to add it. So u plus v applied. And so what should be the result? So 10 plus 1, so 11, 20 plus 2, 22, 30 plus 3, 33. So what is this? What is the next value I'm going to add to the rest of values? Okay. So for that, according to recycling rule, again I have to write 10 plus 4, 20, 14, 20 plus 5, 25, 30 plus 6, 36. What about the rest of these values? So again, I have to be apply this shorter vector to the addition to the second vector. So again, I'm going to write. So 10 plus 70, 17, 20 plus 8, 28, and 30 plus 9, 39. Okay. So like this, I can able to perform the addition according to the recycling rule when the two vectors is going to have a different length. So let's see that another example. Suppose x is equal to c of 1, 2, 3, and y is equal to c of 3, 2, 1, 4, 5, 6. So in this case, so this is the vector 3 and length is 3 here and this length is 6 here. So if I'm going to write x plus y, so what will happen? So what should be the output now? So the output should be 1 plus 3. How much? 4. 2 plus 2, 4. 3 plus 1, 4. So this part is completed. So what about this? So for this one, again I have to apply the shorter values vector to the longer values vector. So again I have to perform 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 2, 7. 6 plus 3, 9. That means I'm going to add 1, 2, 3. So like this, I can able to be perform the addition of the vectors similarly according to the recycling rule. So similarly, the same operation I can able to perform x minus y, and then x into y also, and then x divided by y. Then vector indexing. So how this vector indexing I can able to know that. So in order to retrieve the values in the vector, so have to be declare an index inside the single square bracket operator. Okay, so normally how this C programming and how the indexing is going to be addressed. So if I'm going to declare an array, so array should be of the values 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50, and indexing is going to be start with 0. That is the rotation have to be followed, right? So in similarly in vector, so how the this particular vector value I can able to access is based on this index value only. So similarly here also, so based on the vector index, I'm going to access the particular number of the vector. So for this, I need a single square bracket operator is needed. So how can able to retrieve a vector number here? Suppose if I'm going to have a vector index of -1, so we can use the index 3 for retrieving the third position. Okay, so like uh, So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the vector indexing. Suppose I want to access this value. So how can I able to write? Assign the s of 3. C is the vector, so that one is assigned to the another variable, that is s. If I'm going to write s of 3, what should be the value? CC. Similarly, if I'm going to write s of 2, the value should be b. Similarly, if I'm going to write s of 5, the value should be e, like this. So based on the vector indexing also, we can able to retrieve the members of the vector. So many of the programming languages, the square bracket operator is going to be written more than the just individual values. So in this case, the result of square bracket operator should be the under vector. Okay. So this one, what we call it as the vector slicing. Suppose if I'm going to have another vector like 10, 20, 30. So this should be the character array. So in character array also I can able to access the values like s of 2. If I'm going to it, I can able to get 20. So negative indexing. So when C programming, the negative indexing is not going to be allowed. So when Python, when negative indexing is going to be allowed. So in our programming also negative indexing is going to be allowed. So how this one is going to work? Suppose if the index is negative, you can able to strip the member whose position has the same absolute value as the negative value. For example, if the following vector is created with the slide, the third member is going to be removed. So suppose s of -3. So in previous example, this should be the 3 value, right? So if I'm going to write s of -3, so then uh, based on this negative value, I can able to remove the vector. So s of -3 means, so here CC is there, so that one is going to be removed. So that is the advantage of negative indexing in our program. So out of range, suppose if I'm going to be access the value as out of range, right? Suppose if I'm going to write 10, 20, 30, 40, and then 50. So out of range index, that means, so if I'm going to write C, and this should be x. So x of 3 means I can able to get 30. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I'm going to write x of 5, that should be 50. Suppose if I'm going to write x of 7, what will happen? So not a value. So then this symbol is going to be arrived. So if I'm going to be access the out of range index value, so missing value should be reported as a variable ND. So that means we are going to access the out of range index. So till now I'm going to access only this single vector value. Now I can able to access the numerical index value vector. So how this I can able to work it out. So for this, a new vector is going to be sliced from the given vector. So what we're able to call it as numeric index vector. So which is going to be consists of member positions. And here we're going to be a retrieve vector slicing containing second, third members. Suppose if I'm going to have s equal to, so s is the vector, and if I'm going to access like s, and within this s of c of 2 comma 3, this is the slicing this vector. So I'm going to access the second and third values of this vector. So what is the second and third values of the vector? B, B, and C, C. So similarly, if I'm going to write s of c of 4 comma 5, if I'm going to write, so what is the values of 4 comma 5? D, D, E. So like this, I can able to be retrieve the values from the vector. So how are we going to make a duplicate indexing also? So for this duplicate indexing, so index vector is going to be allow the duplicate values. So here the are going to be follow some of the retrieving of methods are going to be followed here. So for that, what I'm going to say is, so suppose if I'm going to write C of 233, so what will happen? the same value according the third value is what C, right? So if I'm going to repeating the so many number of times, so 3, 2 is BB and 3 is CC, again repeating 3, so again CC is going to be repeating. So the duplicate indexing value should also be retrieved in our programming. So any number of times. Suppose if I'm going to write S of C of 1, 4, 1, if I'm going to write it. So then what will happen? So what should be the output? So C of 1 is AA, 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4 DD. So again I'm repeating, duplicate indexing is coming, that is 1. So again that should be AA. So like this I can able to be retrieve the duplicate indexing values and by making use of this numeric index vector. Suppose outer of order indexes. Out of order means the order should not be same. So one is 4, 2, and then next one 2. I'm going to access 3. I'm going to access like this. So the order not is same here. So normally in of the cases I'm going to access this 1, 2, 3 order, or I can able to write 1, 2, 3. I can able to write 1, 3, 5 like this. Again 4 may not come. So this is the under case. What I'm going to say is out of order indexing. So this out of order indexing, so the vector slice should be the out of first and second number reversed. So if I'm going to write 2, 1, 3 here, so how this 2, 1, 3 come? So 2 is what? BB, A, 1, A, and 3 is CC. So these are the some of the special cases what I'm going to be explained in this numeric index vector. And range index, so range index is also we have. So how this range we can able to specify it is to produce the slice between the two indices. So we can able to make use of this colon operator. So I can able to specify, suppose I'm going to have vector like A is equal to vector I'm going to write, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? If I'm going to mention a range, suppose I want to print from 3 to 5, so how can I able to write? So the output should be 3, 4, 5 values. So what should be the starting index value and what is the ending index value? Let us assume this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 and 70. So what is the starting index? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and then 7. So starting from 30 to 50, I want to some slice of this vector. I want to need it. So for that, what I'm going to write. So 3 is to 5. What is the starting index? 30 and ending index is 5. So 30, 40, and then 50. Okay. So like this, I can make use of this colon operator. Also, I can able to be access the sum of this members of the vector. And next one is logical index vector. So what is this logical index vector? Normally a new vector can able to be sliced from this given vector by making use of this logical index vector. So which can be have the same length of original vector. Suppose if it's the members of the true, then if the corresponding members in the original vectors are going to be included in the slice, and false if it is going to be otherwise. So that means a new vector can also be created from the given vector based on the logic index vector means. So what is this logical index vector? Suppose if this vector is going to be have same length, so its numbers are going to be true, and the corresponding original vectors also going to be included in the slice. Otherwise false if it is going to be false. Suppose, so consider a vector of length 5. So I'm going to have a b a b b c c d d e e. So in order to retrieve the second and fourth members of S, so we are going to define a logical vector of L of the same length and it have its the second and fourth member should be set true. Suppose if I'm going to be access only these two values, so how can I able to write through logical index vector? So in order to retrieve this only these two values, according to the logical vectors, I'm going to write um, true, remaining all should be false. So then only I can able to get this baby and ty. Suppose if I'm going to access only this one and this one, so how can able to write according to the logical index value? So first should be the true, and next should be the false, again false, again false, and last one I want to access it, so I can able to write it is as true according to the logical index value. So similarly, if I'm going to access only this 2 and then this, so according to logical index value, I can able to write. So first one should be I don't want need. So false, true, false, again false, and then true. So according to this logical index vector, also I can able to access the sum of the members of the vector. So these are the some of the special cases. So previous thing should be numeric index vector. So numeric index vector means, so based on the index value, I can able to access the numbers of the logical vector, normal vector. So another type is that logical index vector. So logical index vector, it should be by make use of this boolean values. I can able to be access it. And next one is that name vector members. So that means we can able to assign the names to the vector members also. For example, if I'm going to have a variable like v, uh, it should be a character string vector with two members like Mary and then Sue. If I just mention this object, I can able to get this true. Suppose I want to change the name of this. So like the first number as the first and then second number as the last. I want to write it. So how can I able to write it? So by make use of this names of b function, so I can able to assign it. So C of first comma last. So what is the names? I'm going to pass this object as character string object to the name function. So I'm going to write, so names is the function. I'm going to pass this vector object and then I'm going to be reassigning it as first and then last. So then who is going to be first? I'm going to assign the names. So who is going to be first? Mary, and then last will be Shri. So similarly, I can able to retrieve this first member by its name also, like V of first. If I'm going to write this V, who is going to be have V of first? V of first should be Mary. And similarly, if I'm going to include the entire vector in V of function, so we can able to reverse the order. Okay, so we can able to reverse the order with the character string index vector. So what I'm going to write, so vector C of first I'm writing, last, and then first I'm writing. Previously it should be first and last, so Mary and Sui. So some mistake it is going to be changed it, so I can able to write it last and first. Sui and then Mary. Who is going to be first, last? I want to know. So according to that also I can able to be changed. So like this we can able to implement the vectors based on this indexing and then arithmetic operations of that. So vector is nothing but a sequence of data elements of the same data type. So where the members is going to be called as the components or it should be called as the members. So some of the types of vectors should be numeric, logical, character, and then uh, boolean, what we call it as. And how can able to find the length of vector? That should be through the length of function. And we can also be combine the vectors. Or one is done through numeric and another is character by make use of C of function. And vector operations are also performed like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And according to the recycling rule, the vector of different lengths can also be added. And vector indexing, so by making use of square bracket operator, you can able to access the numbers of the vector, and through negative indexing also can able to access it. And out of range means then the symbol n is going to appear. And two types of vector indexing is possible, like numeric indexing. So based on indexing values, we can able to access the numbers of the vector. And another thing is logical index vector. So based on this logical values, I can able to be access the values of the vectors. Unnamed function is going to be uh, used to change the to provide the names to the members of the vector.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.